Hello, everybody. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the New South Wales Tertiary Access and Pathways webinar for 2021. I would like to open this webinar by acknowledging the Darug people as the traditional custodians of the land where I reside today. I pay my respects to the traditional owners of all the lands where we gather for this webinar, recognizing that Indigenous cultures and customs have nurtured and continue to nurture these lands since the Dreamtime. I pay my respects to elders, past, present, and future, and extend that to any First Nations people here today. Thank you so much for joining us today for this event. We are really pleased to work with the Refugee Education Special Interest Group and 9 institutions in New South Wales to deliver this webinar. We hope that you find the information shared today very valuable and hope that it helps you make informed decisions about your education opportunities in Australia. Next slide, please. I'll start by giving you a brief overview of what we are going to cover today. So we're going to start with an institution overview facilitated by Lotus. Here you will hear from different institutions in New South Wales about the scholarships and support that they offer to students from refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds. We will then move on to a student panel facilitated by Sally. You will hear from Arshadu, Hanya and Parastu, who are all current students at universities in New South Wales. They have kindly agreed to share their journey to higher education with you all. We will then move on to our breakout sessions. You can see the 3 breakout sessions listed on the slide. As you know from the registration form, we are delivering 3 breakout sessions and you will only be able to attend one of these. If you are interested in attending more than one session, don't worry. All the sessions today will be recorded and shared with you after the webinar, so you won't miss out on important information. We will share instructions on how to access these breakout sessions later in the webinar through the chat function. Finally, we will meet back here at 5 p.m. for some final words and a wrap up. Next slide, please. So just some housekeeping before we get underway. So for the main session, can I please ask that you set your Zoom name as your name? If you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A function rather than the chat function. We will do our best to answer your questions, but if we don't get to them, we will answer them after the webinar and send them to you via email. This session will also be recorded, so please don't feel like you have to take lots of notes. We will be sharing the recording and all of the slides with you after the webinar, so you will have access to all of that information. As for the breakout sessions, same thing, please set your Zoom name as your name. In these sessions, you can keep your camera on or off, but please do keep your mic on mute when you're not speaking. You can use the chat function in your breakout sessions. Please also note that this session will be recorded, and if you don't want to be recorded, please keep your camera off. Thank you. I am now going to hand over to Lotus, who will facilitate the institution overview session. Thank you, Lotus.
Thank you very much, Saya. Welcome, everybody. So each institution is going to have 3 minutes to speak about what they offer in terms of scholarships and supports for students from refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds. This is, of course, a very short time, so please do get in touch with the people that present today if you do have questions or would like further information. So first up, we're going to have from Australian Catholic University, Dr. Jen Azadujan from ACU. Thank you.
Thank you, Lotus. So ACU is a national university. We have 8 campuses around the country, but 3 of them are in New South Wales. 1 is in North Sydney, 1 in Strathfield, and a new one in Blacktown. I've offered information on 2 different scholarships in the slides, but I'm going to focus primarily on our refugee scholarship, which is specifically targeted to those students who are on temporary protection visas or seeking asylum and therefore have to apply as international students. So the refugee scholarship, it's a relatively new, it's a young kind of scholarship. We're improving it every year, I hope, in terms of support for students, but it covers full tuition and fees. It also provides a bursary each semester, and that bursary just depends on the budget that we have that year. But an example is in first semester this year, the students received $1,500, and second semester they received $1,000. And we've also instituted a startup kind of grant of $500 to help first year students get off to a good start in buying their supplies, their books, that sort of thing. We've also got a range of supports for students who are on the refugee scholarship. So we've got a 2-year transition program that connects you with some peer mentors, and you get regular check-ins. You also get assigned an international student advisor. And then on each campus, we have a community engagement officer that checks in as well and offers you support to help navigating around the university and the systems and all of those sorts of things. Our scholarship is unique in that it's not situated within a scholarships office or equity office. It's situated with our community engagement division. And that is because we try to work really closely with community organizations that sponsor you or refer you for the scholarship, so that we can work in tandem to help you out throughout your entire kind of student lifespan at university. So to apply, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. So for applying, if you're applying for the refugee scholarship, we ask that you first apply as an international student for whatever course that it is that you desire. And then once you're offered a place, you come to us at ACU Engagement and we give you the steps for applying for the scholarship. And if you would like to receive information on when scholarships will be open, I've provided a little link in the slides that you can provide your contact details, or you can also simply send us an email. I don't have the dates yet, unfortunately, but I do know that we'll be offering at least one scholarship in New South Wales in 2022. So, and hopefully two. But so I think that's all I'll share for now, but please do contact us if you have any questions, and make sure to provide your contact details if you'd like to be notified when we have more details available.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jen. Next up, we have Katie Friedley from Charles Sturt University.
Thanks, Lotus. I am from Charles Sturt Uni, and it's not based in Sydney. It actually has 6 regional university campuses around New South Wales. So you can head inland only a few hours from the city, or you can go to Port Macquarie on the beach as well. So there's a lot of beautiful locations, and each campus will have a variety of different courses available as well. We also have a really strong online community as well, and a lot of courses offered that way. So we've got a couple of different scholarships here, and they're for some different visa categories, so you can see them there. The Refugee and Asylum Seeker Scholarship covers 100% of the tuition fee, which is amazing. And then there's also the additional support that would apply to both scholarships, but also for all students, whether you receive a scholarship or not. And then the Foundation Refugee one is open to any form of study. You've got the different visa categories there, and that one doesn't cover tuition fee, but you get one installment per year of $5,000, so a maximum of $20,000. So that's if you're doing a 4-year course, might be a little bit less if you're doing a 3-year course. We can head to the next one. And you can just see there how you can apply. So to start your application for scholarships, you do need to have a student number. So you need to have applied to study with Charles Sturt, and then also have accepted that offer. There's so many different ways you can do this, so I will go through some of those. But in terms of once you get the offer, accept the offer, you get a student number. The application is all online through our scholarships portal. You can apply for multiple, and they open December and they'll close early February. So you've got plenty of time, you know, later in the year. You can also chat with our team, myself or members of my team, about courses in particular or about scholarship applications, support, everything you need. We're available on Zoom to chat whenever suits you. And then just there's some application dates as well. And I do want to draw out the Child Advantage Early Offer Program, so that will close next week. And that's a really great way to get an offer in September, and then it just makes all these applications for scholarships and accommodation and that type of thing a little bit easier as well. Now, I've just highlighted two. We give away over $3 million worth of scholarships each year. So don't just limit yourself to these ones. You can apply for a lot of different ones. There can be when you start, when you're in your second, third year, and then also if you're going on placements as well. So like we've got a specific fund set aside for rural health students when you're doing a lot of work placement as well. So it can help all throughout your degree. Please do jump on and have a little look there. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. Next up, we have Dr. Richard Stager from Kaplan Business School.
There I go. Sorry for leaving my mic muted. Thanks, Lotus. I'm from Kaplan Business School, where 97% of our students are actually international students. So if there's one thing we really know how to do well, it's the education of international students. And we launched the Asylum Seeker Scholarship based on research we discovered late last year, which used the very unfortunate term, the unaffordable dream, to describe the challenges faced by asylum seekers of achieving a higher. And as such, if a student is successful in receiving one of the 5 asylum seeker scholarships that we offer per year, and one is offered in the Sydney campus, you can study the course of your choice. There are no restrictions whatsoever on your choice of undergraduate or postgraduate courses, as long as you maintain a pass average in your grades. And your tuition fees are completely waived. And as well, a decision was made about a year ago in KBS that we will prohibit the purchase of prescribed textbooks. So you won't pay the sometimes exorbitant costs for textbooks that often amount to hundreds of extra dollars. Now, one area that we know we do extremely well, better than most institutions, and we're very proud of the quality of our student support at KBS. So for example, for this year and for the second year in a row, we are global finalists in the student support category at the Pioneer Awards, which is one of the world's most sophisticated award platforms for international education, and specifically for the student support category. And KBS was recognized at the Pioneer Awards for our student welfare plan in response to the well-being of students during the COVID-19 last year. And our package was extremely generous in terms of the financial and non-financial support for our students, especially in light of the limited Australian government support for international students at the time. And we go further in terms of the day-to-day support we provide, as you can see on our list. Most of our student support is one-on-one coaching and one-on-one tutoring to make sure that our students succeed in their studies. So may I have the next slide, please? Thank you for that. To apply for the scholarship, you can apply online by visiting our website, kbs.edu.au/apply, and learn about our scholarships at kbs.edu.au/scholarships. When applying, you'll need to complete 2 forms. One is the application form for admission, and the other is the scholarship form. Applications for the scholarship are now open and close on the 10th of September. Then, in about a week or 2 later, we'll announce the successful recipients. And if you're and then you're free to choose the course you wish to study if you're the successful recipient, and the trimester when you wish to start. So our next trimester is trimester 3, that begins in November this year, and trimester 1 begins next year, and trimester 2 begins in July next year. So if you'd like any more information, we have a very easy to understand brochure that you can download from the scholarship page on our website. It contains more detail regarding all of our scholarships. And lastly, as a host, I would like to invite you to listen to the Kaplan Community Podcast for conversations that I and my co-host have with our international student alumni. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Richard. I would like to welcome back Saya Hussain to speak for Macquarie University.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm representing Macquarie University. So at Macquarie University, we offer a range of scholarships, but the two that I'm going to touch on today are the Asylum Seeker Sponsorship and the Macquarie Education Cost Scholarship. I'll start with the Asylum Seeker Scholarship. So people seeking asylum in Australia and who are on a temporary protection visa, safe haven enterprise visa, bridging visa A and bridging visa E can apply for this scholarship. Applicants must demonstrate financial hardship, submit a personal statement about how this scholarship will benefit them, submit a letter of reference from somebody they've known for at least 12 months, and be willing to attend an interview with us at Macquarie University. This scholarship is only open to undergraduate courses. So this is our foundation diploma and bachelor's degrees at Macquarie. It is not for any postgraduate studies, including masters. This scholarship is it covers the full cost of your tuition, so it covers the full cost of your course, and 4 students are eligible to receive a $5,000 bursary to support the cost of living. In 2021, we offered 5 of these scholarships. I'm not sure how many we will be offering in 2022 at this stage. The Macquarie Education Cost Scholarship is open to people on a permanent humanitarian visa. Applicants must demonstrate financial hardship, be a recipient of youth allowance or other Centrelink support, and be from a non-English speaking background, including a refugee background. This does not cover the cost of your course. However, it does provide students with a bursary of $5,610 per year to support the cost of their studies, such as buying a laptop, purchasing textbooks, or to cover the cost of transport to university. Next slide, please. So to apply for the Asylum Seeker Sponsorship, you can contact us at transition.support@mq.edu.au or give us a call on the number listed on the slide. Applications are currently open and will close on the 1st of November 2021. So please get in touch with us if you're interested in applying for this scholarship. The Macquarie Education Cost Scholarship is also open, and you apply for this one through UAC on the website listed on the slide. If you do have any questions about this, you can contact the scholarships team at Macquarie through csap@mq.edu.au. Please note that the important dates listed in November, January and March are the dates that offers are received. So make sure you're applying for this scholarship 2 weeks before those dates listed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saya. Now, unfortunately, Jackie Moreno, who was meant to present for the University of Notre Dame, her Zoom is not working. She's dropped off the meeting. It wouldn't be a webinar without a tech issue, really. So we're going to skip to Dana Play from the University of Sydney. We will get that information from Notre Dame out to everyone after today. Yeah, thanks, Dana.
Thanks, Lotus. All right, so we've got 2 schemes available through the University of Sydney. I'll be talking about the Broadway scheme and our early offer Year 12 scheme, also known as E12. So I'll start with the Broadway scheme. So the Broadway scheme is our scheme is the USID's Educational Access Scheme for students who've experienced significant educational disadvantage during Year 11 and Year 12. So you can have a look at the EAS categories of disadvantage on the UAC website, and it will list down 10 categories that you may be eligible for to apply for the Broadway scheme. And on the next slide, there is a link to our USID page on how to apply for Broadway. So that's probably all I'd say about that, because a lot of that information is on our website. And it's a really easy way to get 10 adjustment points as well. And I can't tell you exactly how many adjustment points you'll get. It's really dependent on background internal assessment. So I'll go on to the E12 scheme. So we do have more than 90 courses available under our E12 scheme. The only 2, unfortunately, that aren't available are psychology and dietetics. However, we do have a list on our E12 website. So on the next slide as well, I've got the address for our E12 website, which is sydney.edu.au/E12. If you go onto that website, we actually have a checklist of everything you need to know about E12, from how to apply and eligibility. So with eligibility, so I'll just flip back to the other slide. So with eligibility, you firstly need to be assessed through UX EAS categories for either financial hardship, so FO1, A, B, C, or D. All of those, please have a look on the UAC website for what those are and what supporting documentation you need. Or you need to fall under low SES or be from a rural or regional high school. All of that information, once again, you can find on our checklist, and it will go through how to apply for E12 and also your eligibility. As part of the eligibility, you do need to also answer 3 personal statement questions. So please make sure you do upload that onto the school's recommendation scheme on the UAC website as well. Unfortunately, there is no fee waiver. There is a $5,950 scholarship available for your first year. And there are also other scholarships available through the University of Sydney. So if we just go to the next slide. Yeah. If you do want further information, as mentioned, go to sydney.edu.au/E12 and we can help you there. Otherwise, you can email us at admission.pathways@sydney.edu.au. Applications close on the 19th of September. So please put your applications in through UAC School's recommendation scheme. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dana. Next, we have John Tran from the University of Technology, Sydney.
Yes, hello. Thank you. Thank you for all coming here today. My name is John Tran. I work within the Centre for Social Justice and Inclusion in the University of Technology, Sydney. Today I'm presenting our humanitarian scholarship program. For the year 2022, we will be offering 5 scholarships within the 5 different faculties listed here. So they are one place for the business school, one place for engineering, information technology and IT, and one place in design, architecture, building, and one place in health and one place in law. So the scholarship is designed to for people who are on temporary protection visa or temporary refugee visas and asylum seeking visas. So the condition of award for this scholarship is to receive and accept an offer from UTS to study an undergraduate course in one of the faculty's places that we've listed above, and commence study full-time immediately once you accept that offer. You also have to maintain above average academic results, pass average academic results. And the scholarship pays for 100% of your course, so it's a fee waiver scholarship. We also have $1,000 that we give each year to students to cover any expenses, for textbooks, any costs in addition to the fees. And for the first year, example of supports that we give for when you're in our scholarship is and we have peer mentoring support for the first 4 weeks, where you connect with a student who is already in the scholarship, who's in your faculty, who's in the 2nd and 3rd year or beyond, who will give you that connection, that support within the first 4 weeks and show you around. We have academic mentoring, where you connect with someone who's an academic within your faculty, who can also assist you with career guidance or subject selection, who can assist you with things to do with your degree. We have additional financial support and assistance if you need it on a needs basis. We also give out laptops and digital assistance support, once again on a needs basis. Next slide, please. And so to apply for the scholarship, it is open now for application. If you're in year 12, you do have to apply for UAC and you need to preference a UTS course. And then you apply for the humanitarian scholarship at the same time. If you're not in year 12 and you just apply directly to UTS International, and then you apply for the scholarship. Once you do get the offer for the course, you do accept the offer for the course, you also accept the offer for the humanitarian scholarship. So to connect with us, please do connect with us on this email to find out more. We would love to hear from you. The email address is access.schemes@uts.edu.au, and visit our website uts.edu.au//humanitarian-access. Applications are open now and they will close on the 15th of December. And good luck, and I do hope to hear from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Next up, we have Dr. Alfred Mupenzi from Western Sydney University.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you about Western Sydney University. We pride ourselves in our geographical location. We have 10 campuses distributed across, and our scholarships are two mainly. We have donor-funded scholarships, but we also have university-funded scholarships. Specific to refugees and asylum seeker scholarships, currently we have two main ones that are university-funded. I will show you other donor-funded ones. The very first one being Western Sydney University Refugee Scholarship. You just go to Western Sydney University website and search for Western Sydney University Refugee Scholarship, and you will find it there with all the conditions and terms. We welcome every special humanitarian visa applicants, but we also have a big budget for scholarships for asylum seekers. At least we offer around 10 each year on average, and so we do fees waiving off, and also we offer you a stipend for living allowances, and we cover some other expenses for the university. And so these are the two university funded scholarships. But I will go on the next page and show you other donor funded scholarships. And now when we talk of donor funded scholarships, these ones come specifically for a specific reason. For instance, Yasin Equity Scholarship would be targeting women in science. Alliance Refugee Scholarship is a donor scholarship. We also have our Chancellor's Scholarship. Many of you know that our Chancellor, Peter Shegold, is also the National Refugee Coordinator for New South Wales. And we have all these donors who particularly put their money into supporting refugees and asylum seekers. Don't hesitate to contact us and reach to us. The website is just right there. Today, as I speak, I think we have 27 million in the scholarship fund. And this year, our philanthropist, Town and Gown, is just raised funds for refugees. I'm pretty sure you will find yourself fitting in one of these scholarships. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you very much, Alfred. Next, we have Adam Hennessy from the University Admission Centre. Sorry, Adam, you're on mute.
My bad, I was muted. I was just saying, Morang Uria. I'm a Gadigal man sitting on Dark and Jung land, so I just want to acknowledge the people here. So UAC's a bit different. As you can see, I've only got one slide for starters. Everyone else had two, so I feel a bit inadequate. And not a lot of information there. That is because we don't offer scholarships. So why are we here? Because we administer scholarships under the Equity Scholarship scheme for 15 universities, including lots of the universities that are here and a few colleges as well. So what I wanted to say was that you apply through us, we do all the assessment of all your paperwork and documentation, which includes refugee as a tribute, non-English speaking background as a disadvantage, as well as Centrelink and a few other things, which I'll go into in a presentation that I'll give a little later. So what I plan to do is just in my 3 minutes, quickly go back and touch on a few things that a few other people have said when they've brought us up. Saya made a really good point with Macquarie University, and it says it at the bottom of the slide here. Any of the due dates that you see on institution websites that involve a UAC application for scholarships will generally mean you have to apply 10 days prior to that date. We guarantee we will assess your documents and your application, no matter how big it is, if you get it into us 10 days before the actual offer round date. And all the offer rounds are available at the the website there on the page. So that's one. If I want to just talk about UTS for a minute, they said their closing date was the 15th of December, which is their closing date. But just so you know, if you're a Year 12 student and you want educational access scheme, so adjustment factors, add your ATAR to create a selection rank to make you more competitive, we need your application by the 29th of November to guarantee you an offer letter, an eligibility letter, by that post-ATAR first big offer round, so 29th of November. Finally, I'll just talk about USID for a minute. E12, so FO1A, FO1B, the disadvantages through EAS that you have to be eligible for their scheme, they are you receiving a payment, Centrelink payment that's means tested, so youth allowance, ab study, parenting payments, things like that. FO1C is financial disadvantage without receiving any payments. FO1D is mum and dad are getting family tax benefit. AGO1 we will generate for you when you apply. We look at your address. If you're in a low socioeconomic area, we give you an application, so you don't have to do a thing. You'll just get a letter 24 hours after you apply. Same with SO1R and C, which are your school's rural or regional identification, which is in our system. You'll get a letter 24 hours after you apply, and you don't have to do anything. When you apply for your SRS, which is what E12 is essentially, it's their scheme based on the school's recommendation scheme. It's free to apply to after you've applied to UAC, which is there's a fee involved, of course, $70 pre 30th of September, $200 after. Apply to school's recommendation scheme by the 19th of September. It closes after that. We won't accept applications after because we can't. But for Sydney, and also I'll say for University of New South Wales, there's an additional step. You have to fill out a questionnaire. So it's available, the links are available in your school's recommendation scheme website. So you go in, you download it and you re-upload it. So that's the two institutions that require that, UNSW for their Gateway scheme and University of Sydney for their E12. I don't have a lot more to say except apply for educational access scheme, apply for schools recommendation scheme, and apply for equity scholarships through us. Even if you apply directly to institutions, we do it for all 15 institutions. We give you 5 preferences. I'm not selling UAC. I'm saying that it's the best way for you to have any disadvantage you've had in your life, including refugee status, which is a disadvantage under educational access scheme, to get a couple more points to try and raise that selection rank and get into university. So peace and love, everyone.
Thank you very much, Adam. We now do have Jackie Moreno back from the University of Notre Dame. So we're going to circle back and take it away, Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lotus, and thanks for your patience, everyone. So my name is Jackie Moreno from the University of Notre Dame, Australia, and I will just touch base on very important aspects of our Vice Chancellor Humanitarian Scholarship. So this is basically for asylum seekers on bridging visa type A, asylum seekers on bridging visa type E with no limitations on study, temporary protection visa holders, and safe haven enterprise visa holders as well. So there is obviously information in this on this slide and the next slide, but I know that obviously our time is limited, and that's the reason why I want to let you know that if you do have any questions at any point, obviously feel free to reach out to either me or Marie, whose details I'll tell you in a minute. So the conditions are that you are accepted into any of our undergraduate programs at the University of Notre Dame, and once you have received that offer, actually you can apply for as an international student as well as submit an application for this particular scholarship at the same time. That's not a problem at all. And what this offers is a fee waiver, so you wouldn't have to pay for any fees for the entirety of your program. Normally bachelor's that we offer are 3 years, unless we're talking about law, which is normally a 4-year degree, or nursing or medicine in a Fremantle campus, biomedical sciences. So it does depend on the program, but the fee waiver, we offer it. We do not offer a bursary. So it's basically the support with the fee waiver and mentoring programs, access to our student clubs, counseling, etc., as you can see on that slide. If we could go to the next slide, please, and then I'll tell you how you can apply and who to contact. So the way to apply, like I said, is very easily. It's just through our website. And once you submit the application, it will take, the turnaround time is around 4 to 6 weeks. So do plan ahead, please, because there is a lot of, like, not a lot, but there is some paperwork that you would need to submit. And the way you accept is, we don't have cutoff dates, as you can see there on the slide, but we will be corresponding with you by email once you have submitted that application. And by November this year, we will be uploading a lot more details on our website. But please feel free to contact Marie Liddell directly. She is our contact person in the university for any inquiries related to scholarships, especially for this particular scholarship, which is so important. And so if you also have questions, Saya here and the ladies at Macquarie have my contact details, so do feel free. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions about programs, or point you in the right direction. Thank you so much for your time, for listening, and good luck with your application and your studies. Thanks.
Thank you very, very much, Jackie. Lastly, we have Dr. Sally Baker from the University of New South Wales with some very, very exciting news.
Hi, everyone. I have no information, I'm afraid, but I can tell you that UNSW is starting a scholarship for asylum seekers specifically from 2022. The details are still being finalised now. So I can't tell you anything other than I know that it will be full fee waiver, a generous stipend, and there will be subsidised accommodation involved in this scholarship. Whether it is restricted to undergraduate or whether it also includes postgraduate is still yet to be established. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat. I don't want to be the point of contact forever, but I'm happy if anyone has any questions about the possibility of coming to UNSW and applying for the scholarship, then we can let you know if you drop me an email. But this was only announced 2 days ago, so I'm really thrilled. Sorry to not be able to give any concrete information. Unfortunately, it will be only one for 2022, but we're hoping that this will be something that we can build on and increase the number with further advocacy. So do get in contact if you're interested in UNSW. And also just acknowledging what Adam said about Gateway. For anyone who's on who has permanent protection, then Gateway is UNSW's early admissions scheme. And there are plans for there to be other refugee scholarships for 2022. But again, unfortunately, cannot guarantee or offer any concrete information. But this is really significant for anyone who hasn't followed this journey. UNSW are the last group of 8 university, and I think one of the last universities in New South Wales to offer a bespoke scholarship and have a system for it. So this is really exciting to see more universities coming on board and recognising that scholarships like these are important for opening access to people who would otherwise be locked out. That's it from me. Thank you.
Let's get started. I'm Bron. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians upon the land on which we're meeting today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and welcome anyone of Aboriginal descent that's joining us today. I'm calling in from Darrick Land. I work at Western Sydney University as the Community Project Officer, and I oversee 2 programs, Pacifica Achievement to Higher Education and Refugee, New and Emerging Communities. I'm joined by John, who's actually going to take you through the next few slides. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. And yes, I'd like to acknowledge our traditional custodians of this land. I'm on the Cabaragal land, people of the Cabaragal land, people of the Darug Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, current and emerging as well. And yes, so today, thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to talk to you about scholarships and the opportunities that scholarships do provide to our community. We look forward to just giving you all the information that you need to achieve, to get on your journey of achieving your career goals. So today we're just going to go through a bit of introductions, and we're going to talk about the applications and application assessment. The one most important thing Bron will talk about will be personal statements and how to stand out in your personal statement. And you know, talk about your uniqueness, your journey, because we want to hear about you. And then Bron's also going to talk about the STAR method, and that's a really good method on how to stand out in your personal statement. And then we're just going to leave it to you as well to ask questions in the Q&A. We're going to try our best to be able to assist you. And please feel free to ask, because when you're asking a question, it's not only for you, because other people may have the same question as well. So you're asking the question on other people's behalf, and everyone else will get to hear it. So next slide. So yes, so the application and assessment. So we'll be just going through what's required, and usually the university has these 4 criteria that is required when you go through that application process to apply for a scholarship, and that's the required supporting documents, the selection criteria that is placed on those documents, you know, the visa status, your eligibility criteria, and personal statements, interviews that's required as well, and submit, and make sure you submit that before the closing date. So those are the 4 main things that you need to be aware of. And so supporting documents, it's a little bit dry, but it's quite important. So yes, you need to have the supporting documents, your proof of citizenship or your visa status, which is quite important. So your visa, valid copies of that, the letters of recommendation from community organisation that have supported you. You know, I have received letters from the Salvation Army. I've received letters from multicultural groups, as well as Asylum Seeker Support Centre. And, you know, those are all valid letters of recommendations. Recommendations from your school principal, your school teacher are great as well. School and community involvement certificates are really good if you have any, and prizes that you may have been awarded for, as well as memberships to any relevant organisation, or just, you know, involvement in any cultural activity, volunteering, you know, certificates of appreciation for volunteering in any cultural activity or any volunteering activity. And then number 6 is the proof of equity consideration. So just proof of why you need the scholarship. Is it because obviously you can't afford it? So there'll be, you know, letters from financial hardship, Centrelink statements, medical certificates from your doctor, which is, you know, which is quite important for consideration. And letters from counsellors, or letters from psychologists, which are really good too. Proof of non-English speaking background. That's, I guess you can prove that always with your, you know, with your visa as well, and any other medical letters that are relevant. So I think that covers it all in terms of the supporting documentation that you may need for these scholarships. But the next part is the other important bit that Bron will talk to you about.
Awesome. So the big thing when you are, you know, pulling together a scholarship application is the personal statements. And why they're important is because they tell your story. So just over here, we've got, you know, your personal statement. It should be a story that gives a picture of you, you know, to the funding agency or the university, that tells them, you know what, this is the right person for this scholarship. So we're going to pull together a few little tips with you guys, and then we're going to run through, as John mentioned, the STAR method, which is absolutely brilliant. So you can see here we've got, you should include special interests and abilities. You can include career plans and goals. Very big thing as well that there's 4 things that I always say to students. The first thing is to tell your story, look at what your accomplishments are and your achievements so far. The second thing is, what do you know about the university? Because, you know, you like to schmooze people, and it's always good that knowledge of your donor is going to assist you. The third one is looking at where you are going to be heading as well. And the fourth one is, how will this scholarship help you accomplish your career plans and your goals? So I'm going to give you a few little, this is a little sample plan that we have that is, oops, look at me being all cool. So in your introduction, you want to obviously introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your personal story. You want to include stuff like, you know, your attitude towards schooling, because you always want to point out the really cool stuff about, you know, about you that will tell that institution. I'm sorry, guys, is that my echo? I hear an echo, but anyways, let's keep going. That will show, you know, that you've got this really good attitude, and it also will show that you're the right person for that particular scholarship. And as John mentioned previously too, guys, you want to list some of the awards that you have received. I'm just going to move on to this next little part in writing your personal statement. You can talk about your academic progress, particularly at school. And as we sort of have mentioned as well, guys, mention what your plans are once you've finished school. List any universities as well. That stuff is always very interesting. You can also talk about teachers that you've talked to about your career plans and goals, and your extracurricular activities. I think it's really important for you to acknowledge that some of the stuff that you do external to school is actually really important, because it shows like that you have this really good work-life balance. So how do we go about doing that? So sometimes when you're writing a personal statement, you can think to yourself, oh my gosh, I've just got to scribble down everything. I just share with you a really simple method that I hope will help you. And this is the STAR method. I'm sure lots of people know what it is. But basically what it is, guys, is it stands for this: situation, task, action, and result. So when you're starting out and you're brainstorming about what I want to actually write, you know, when I'm starting my scholarship application, this is a really good place to start. The STAR method is also really awesome when it comes to writing your resume as well, and writing towards, what are they called, John? I've forgotten the words, but never mind, I'll come back to it. But yes, but when you're writing a resume, folks, this is a really great way to kind of start. So I'm going to just show you what I actually mean by this, folks. So in this little box here, you can see I've set it up where it says, what's my achievement? What's a little bit of a description? What was the result of it? And what is my supporting evidence? So for example, we're looking at what the student did at school. So they were a member of the SRC. To describe that, this person led the subgroup responsible for organising the school cleanup day and raised money for the environmental group through Mufti. One of the results was they raised $4,000, and that was being used towards trees being planted around the main quad. And so supporting evidence, something very simple like a letter from the DP that highlights that student's contribution. Now you'll see down below, you know, coming back to extracurricular activities, one of them is coaching soccer. So for 2 years, this person was the coach of the under-9s. You know, one of the things they did was it required empathy, development of ability, and directional support. One of the results was the experience actually encouraged that student to continue volunteering, and then that also encouraged their pursuit of becoming a PE teacher. And again, supporting evidence was a letter from the organisation or a main coach. I'm just going to stop sharing for just 2 seconds as well, guys, because I have a little handout that I usually send to people, and I can certainly send this to people as well. We just didn't know how many people were in our group, but I'll show you how we sort of have pulled it together. Every 6 seconds. All right, John, can you see this?
Yes, I can see it. Perfect.
Wonderful. So yeah, so I have this little document here, guys. If you would like to be sent it to you, I can, if you check your email in the chat, I will send it off to you, and it's basically just got a little template. So everything that I just spoke to you about, so STAR, situation, what was the task, what was the action and what was the result. And then it's giving you the examples here, guys, and you'll see as I scroll very, very slowly, it's got little boxes where you can start practicing and start writing stuff for yourself. Yeah, and this is a wonderful and easy way for you to get started, because sometimes, you know, you forget as you sort of go along, what are some of the really cool things that you've actually accomplished. So this one's school-based achievements. The second one here is just any extracurricular and community achievements as well, guys. And then I've scrolled down and I've actually gotten here personal statements. So some more information about personal statements. I'm just going to scroll very slowly. And then just a little block here where you can actually start typing out, you know, some of the information that you've accumulated so far. So I'm going to take it back to the actual PowerPoint, folks. And like I said, I'm happy to send this off to you if you want to do some practicing, even while John and I are actually talking to you too. We can certainly do that. So just give me 2 seconds while I stop sharing the screen.
I'm just taking everyone's emails down. So,
oh, wonderful. People
yeah.
Sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And I'm just going to come back to the current slide because John's going to finish us off with just one last thing. And then we're going to invite, I think, one of the students to speak and then some Q&A if that's okay, guys. So let's just reshare because sharing is caring. Thank you. Here you go, John. You can finish us off with just this last slide.
Yeah, so look, I'm just thinking also when I thought back, you know, when I was growing up too, and coming from a refugee background, it was really tough just growing up with mum and with my brother, and most of the time I would be working, and you know, little time that I would have left, maybe I would play a bit of soccer. I did play a bit of baseball. I've looked back and, you know, if I was told to write something like this, I would go, I didn't achieve anything. But you know what? All of the things that you did for mum, for family, playing with your friends in soccer, would that be, you know, at school, coming second in the inter-school comp in 1 year, leading as a vice captain in the soccer team, you know, looking after your family, working to help mum, working to assist your brother or sisters, being their mentor, being their guide, being someone that, you know, when they need something, they come to you and they ask you for something. All of these things are valid and that you can write about. You don't have to be, you know, that having so much privilege to be able to have all of that time and be going to volunteer and do something. Okay, so I want to say to you that all of that hard work that you have to do through your journey is valid, and you can write about that. So in here we've got, yes, we do have community volunteering. That's great if you have done that and you have the time and capacity to do that, and mentoring. But you also can write about your work, your part-time jobs, any internships. Any extracurricular activity I did mention, you know, even if it's that in inter-school sport or comp, or even winning the cross country or coming 5th, you know, coming the top 10 in 1 year in something. All of these things are valid because they show that you tried and you committed to something, that gives you a lot of courage and commitment. Helped and organised a fundraiser, so working on exciting projects at school, or it could be outside of school. I've heard a student, you know, who volunteered on a weekend class teaching their language, so keeping the community language alive. So not only, you know, to do with English and to do with your academic achievement, but it could be to do with your cultural achievements, you know, keeping, being involved in cultural dances, cultural arts, or keeping your language alive and teaching younger people, helping them with language. Those are all valid things to write about. Have I covered everything that I think I covered everything that I can think of, but I would love for anyone else to share with us as well what they think they could write about, and, you know, run it by us today, and we can tell you if those are great things to be able to write about.
And as soon as I stop sharing, guys, I will literally send the email to those of you that have actually flicked your email addresses. But one thing that I forgot to actually mention too, and I think it's really important, that when you're applying for these scholarships, I'm sure I speak for all universities when I say that they don't want you to relive some really difficult parts that have happened in your life, if that makes sense, because if you're applying for a refugee or asylum seeker scholarship, it's implied that, you know, there has been some difficulty in your life. And so really focus on where you're heading. So, you know, right now, where are you right now? Where do you want to be? And how does this scholarship help you get there?
Welcome, everyone. I'm Amanda from UTS, and we're going to be talking to you about applying to university. I'm going to hand it over to Adam, who's going to talk about the UAC process, and then we'll come back together because there's a small group of us, come back together and we can have a bit of a Q&A discussion about different university processes. So over to you, Adam.
Thanks, Amanda. Okay, so we'll fly through the slides. Because no one likes looking at slides. So UAC, I explained a bit about what we are, applications for 28 institutions, and we've got more and more coming on board all the time. I think Notre Dame just come on board recently, which is wonderful. Charles Darwin last year. So more and more coming on board all the time. What do? We administer applications for access schemes, which is really relevant to you guys. I talked about it before. But we also calculate the ATAR for all the high school students. And you know you're sucking up to me and sending me presents and prizes and cash because I have nothing to do with that because that is math and I do not do math. So we'll go to the next slide. So this is really relevant, yes. So we opened already, no point talking about that. Schools recommendation scheme, very important. This is early offers. We will be making, institutions will be making early offers through UAC around about the 12th of November. So that is post high school certificate exam, but pre-ATAR release. So, excuse me. So some institutions make offers unfettered, so unconditional offers. Yes, congratulations, you're in the course. Others have conditions like a minimum ATAR you have to get. So apply by the 19th of September. 30th of September, another important date for applying to university in general. That is our end of our early bird. So if you apply before the 30th of September, midnight on the 30th of September, it's $70 to apply to UAC, to apply through UAC to institutions. Great thing is, as I said before, you get 5 preferences. You can change them 495,000 times a day if you like. We don't stop you, just as long as they're set how you want them by all the dates that you can find on our website. After that, it's $200. So that's a massive leap. So make sure you get your applications in before the 30th of September. I've already said November 12th, when we release SRS offers. 28th, as I said in the last, when I had a chat to you before, that's when we want your educational access scheme, which is your disadvantages. That's when we want all the documentation in by. That way we guarantee we'll get it all done. Now, if we jump forward to December, we've got ATAR release, change of preference dates, and offers based on ATAR. So what we're talking about there is at 9 a.m. on the 17th, you'll get your ATAR. Now, that is today, right? What the Department of Education does in relation to COVID, lockdowns and all that, that could change. It's changed recently. It could change again. If it does, just check our socials, come to our website. All the universities will give you that information as well about the changes. But at the moment, that's when you'll get your ATAR. And on the 18th at midnight, make sure your preferences are locked in. So if you want to go to Amanda's wonderful UTS or anyone else's beautiful university, I see Charles Sturt above me there, make sure that those preferences are locked in by the 18th. And then on the 22nd, we'll make offers. So if we can jump to the next one. So applying to uni, prepare, apply, manage, accept. So if we can go to the next slide, we'll go through what each of these mean very quickly. So prepare. We tell you to research, go to open days. Go to open days like we're having open days. We're having them virtually. Yeah, a lot of universities are doing virtual open days. And universities who come out of lockdown, like I think where I am, should be out of lockdown on Saturday unless things go pear-shaped. So University of Newcastle may decide to have an open day. So just keep an eye out on websites to see whether they're virtual or not. Expos, same, we do virtual expos. And look at our website, look at the institution websites. Course Seeker, Course Finder. There's 1,000 different websites with a million different ways you can look at courses, but do a bit of research, find out what your prerequisites are, find out what the pass marks have been. And that's what I'm talking about with selection criteria. So if we can go to the next slide. Apply. There you go. It's pretty simple. It's a very simple application. I don't say that because I work there. I say it because it is. So you go in, and if you're a Year 12, hello Trudy. If you're a Year 12 student, then we're going to have all your results and marks anyway. You have to upload very little. Pick your 5 preferences and move on. And as I said, you can go back and change those preferences 1,000 times if you want. There's no limit. Once you've applied for UAC, it opens up the world of access schemes to you. The educational access scheme is at the end of the UAC application, and you can jump in and apply for that. It is free once you've paid that initial fee to apply to university. Equity scholarships, which is what we've been talking about a lot, scholarships, again, it is free. It is free even if you don't apply to us, yeah? So if you're applied directly to Western or directly to Macquarie, directly to any institution, you can still come in and apply for an equity scholarship through UAC. Free. Always has, always will be, I hope. Don't have to have applied to UAC to do a course. And schools recommendation scheme, again, free once you've applied for UAC and have the UAC number. So we'll go to the next slide. Manage. So look, I'm not going to go into this much. It's just basically about when you get the letter from us saying, you know, you got bonus points based on educational access scheme. You don't get told how many because institutions don't want us to tell you. If they want to tell you, they can. And we just want to make sure that you know where you sit and what you think what your mark will be and what the lowest selection rank has been in the past. So we can go to the next one. Change your preference. Look, I go to open days and stuff like that all the time, post ATAR open days, and people come up to me all the time and say, this was one of the most common questions to an open day I went to when we could do them. Oh, should I change my preference to like law? Because I didn't think I'd get 98, but I got 98. So should I not waste my ATAR? Yeah, I made little bunny ears, not waste my ATAR. And I tell every single student, do you want to do law or do you want to do the nursing degree that you had down as your first preference? Oh, well, I really want to do nursing, but I don't want to waste ATAR. There's such thing as wasting ATAR. ATAR's a number. You're more than a number. You pick the course, put the course first that you want to do. All right. If you end up getting 99.95, don't think you have to run out and do medicine or law because you've got a really, really good mark. If that's what you want to do, fantastic. But you do what you want to do. So that's where we can change preferences. So we'll go to the next one. Yeah, we'll go through that. We talked about that. So accept offers. That's another thing I say all the time. For schools recommendation scheme, you might be made an offer on the 12th of November, even if it's not your first offer that you really, really wanted to do. If you get made an offer and it's unconditional, even if it's conditional, accept that offer. Move it off your preference list, put another offer in your preference list. Right? You might end up, by the time ATAR is released and that offer round's done, you might end up with 2 or 3 offers that you've accepted. So then you have the power. So you might have an offer from 3 different universities, and you can pick which one you want to do and tell the other ones, sorry, I've picked this. So accept all the offers you get. Make sure you pull those preferences out, change your preferences before next round, and enrollment will come after that. So we'll go to the next slide. There you go, that's it. So that's us. Before I pass back to Amanda, I just want to say that with equity scholarships and with the educational access scheme, all the information is on our website. I implore you to do it, especially if you're from a refugee background. All those, you know, protection visas that we'll talk about, the 200s, the 866s, the 795s, the 780s, they are all included in both those schemes. So really go out and do it, because the great thing is that educational access scheme, you apply those bonus points, or sorry, adjustment factors that you get for being a refugee, for having English as your second language, which is a disadvantage in an English-speaking school. They are across all the institutions, all 28, well, there's 24 institutions that participate in the educational access scheme. So all of them will look at those disadvantages. And if you change your preferences, it doesn't mean you have to redo applications. They'll just change for the institution that looks at them in a specific way. So please, it's free once you've applied through UAC for university. Go in, make your application. Me and my team will be assessing it, and just take it from me personally, we're awesome people and we will look after you, all right? And if you have a problem, equity@uac.edu.au is our website, is our email address. We will answer any and all of your questions anytime. I'll chuck it in the chat after I stop yammering on. So I'm going to hand back over to Amanda, who will take you through the next part of this.
Thanks, Adam. And I have to agree, UAC are awesome people, and it's really just, you know, a matter of reaching out and asking questions or asking for help. So the next part of this really is just us. I would really like to understand what sort of questions you have, or if you have any questions for Adam. I think some of the key messages really are about, you know, understanding what the criteria or what the key dates are for each institution, for each degree, and then submitting your application. There's some things that you need to know if you are a year 12 student completing high school, or if you're, you know, doing a TAFE diploma, or if you are looking to use, you know, a different type of qualification as, you know, to use as your basis for admission to any institution. The key thing is really just to contact that institution and find out what that process is. One of the things that my team have worked on over the years and tried to kind of refine at UTS is really understanding that application process for different people on different types of refugee/humanitarian protection visas. So we know that for year 12 students who are on temporary protection visas, they can apply through UAC or we encourage them to apply through UAC for university. However, with non-current school leavers, so people who haven't just completed their year 12, we accept direct applications. Adam, sorry, just before you know.
Oh yeah, sure.
I just wanted to confirm in terms of other universities, when you're accepting applications from people who are not year 12 students but are asylum seekers, so have asylum seeker background, so therefore considered as international students, is it generally the case where you have to apply directly to the university?
No. We'll take non-year 12s. And the same conditions apply, and same things with educational access scheme. If it's an undergraduate study, or postgraduate too, but I mainly deal in the undergraduate environment. So if it's an undergraduate course and you're a non-year 12, you'll apply through us, and we assess you the same way. You have to upload a few more things, or you have to tell us when your study periods have been post-school, if you've done another degree or something like that, so we can assess that. But it's the same process, and the disadvantages remain the same too. While educational access scheme is around those years of study that shaped the ranking we're going to use to give you a placement in university, the great thing is refugee status. We don't care when you studied. If you're a refugee, you're a refugee, and we will look at you and give you adjustment factors based on that. So we encourage application.
Yes, but that's just for domestic students, right? That's
just for domestic students
who qualify for domestic places.
Absolutely, yes, or domestic in New Zealand.
Yes, that's right. Whereas if you are on a temporary protection visa and not in high school currently, you often have to apply directly to the institution as an international student, because you're considered as an international student. And that's certainly the case for UTS's Humanitarian Scholarship Program. Now, I can see that there are some questions in the chat. Is there anyone from Sturt University? Yes, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi, yeah, I'm just typing at the moment. So Sid West, get ready for a long reply, but I'm going to give you all the details.
Great, perfect, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions about applying to university? I think we have.
I will say to Sid West, I don't know what Katie's going to respond with because I don't know the current rules, but I was a police officer 3,795 years ago, and it's a very good career, Sid West.
Fantastic.
We use stone bullets. Road brontosauruses.
Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask about
Hey there, Sid West.
anything that they heard, you heard in the previous section, in the previous, Sahar, can see your hand up.
Hello.
Hi, Sahar.
Hey, Sahar.
How are you all?
Awesome. How are you?
Very good.
I'm good. I just have a little concern because I currently attend a Steiner school, which I do sit my HSC and I do get my HSC results, but I do not get an ATAR. So that is my biggest problem because all the courses I've looked at consider ATAR, and I do want to become a human rights lawyer, and basically that's my concern because all the courses I've looked at, one require an ATAR and I do not get one. And the other student from Western Sydney did mention that she did get into university with her HSC results, and I was just wondering how I can do that, if I make sense.
Yeah, I haven't quite come across a Steiner qualification before. Have you, Adam?
Yeah, well, we've had Steiner before, and it is problematic, and I say that in an inelegant way, in that I can't think of another word for it. Because yes, you're right, you don't get an ATAR, hey? Because for whatever reason at the moment, the conversions aren't recognised, but you can still absolutely 100% apply through UAC. We have conversion tools and all that sort of stuff. But my best advice would be to ask your exact same question to specific institutions, right? Yep. Because we run admissions for 28 institutions, and each of those institutions, even though it's through us, have different rules. So there'll be institutions that will say Steiner School can't do anything about it because we only use ATAR. Right, but there'll be the majority of institutions will say, oh, no, we're cool, we can look at A, B, C, but the institution themselves will be the best one to tell you. So which institution do you want to go to? Because that's a very lofty degree that you want to do, and I will, obviously you'll be my boss one day, clearly somewhere down the track, but which school do you want to go
to? Basically Notre Dame or Macquarie. I've already sent in my application for Newcastle, and yeah, basically those are like my first options, but I'm literally going to be applying for every university in New South Wales because one will take me.
Yep, no, that's good. Look,
yeah,
I can't talk for Macquarie, but I know Notre Dame do alternate entry stuff, and they're a fantastic university for students who may not have had a traditional direct pathway.
Yeah, I did email Notre Dame a few days ago. I'm just waiting for the response. I did mention that.
Jackie's there.
Jackie from Notre Dame.
Hello.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're from Notre Dame. Interrupt.
Go ahead. So yeah, that's right. Definitely. Thank you so much as well for that, Alan, for your comments and on that. Indeed, you will hear from admissions. Hopefully, look, the turnaround times sometimes are 4 to 6 weeks. But you'll definitely hear back from us. We do have an open day coming up this Saturday. So if you haven't registered, definitely I'll encourage you to register, because you'll be able to talk to us and to the academics, and definitely the Faculty of Law, Bachelor of Laws, you can combine it with a couple of different things. So I just want to let you know, I'll pop it in the chat, my email address. If you want to contact me directly, that's great. Just so that I don't take time of, this session, and yeah, we can definitely correspond, and I'll help you find out where your application, what your application status is. More than happy to do that. That's it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Not a problem, Sahar. Thank you.
Last year, the webinar that we had last year, we also had some frequently asked questions, a table that we had developed, all the institutions, and I'm sure Saya and her team will have something very similar, which will be sent out with some really handy links and stuff for you to access that information from each institution as well. So I think that's might help with your research too. Did anyone else have any other questions?
Anything?
While everyone's thinking of them, I did also just want to highlight, like, yeah, Sturt has laws and we have alternate entry as well. But more to what Adam said, there's, you know, each uni has their different entry requirements. There's always a way to get there. It just, yes, it might be a bit tricky administration wise, or it might take you a while to get the answer, or you might have to do a pathway course first, or start in another course that you don't actually prefer and then move into it. And as long as you're patient and committed and open to asking people for help, then we can help you and we can come up with plans. And I'm talking for all unis there. We can like work with you to find the best pathway forward for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Amanda. Something that I say to a lot of kids that I talk to, universities and UAC and everyone in this field, they don't want to not have you at their university. Everyone wants you at their university because you're awesome and you're someone else they can educate, and then someone else that can proselytise for them. Like I went to Macquarie, so I rave about Macquarie a fair bit. Yeah, not work wise, but external to work. So it's everyone wants you, and they'll, like, admissions staff at universities are phenomenal, and they will move heaven and earth to get you in some way or another.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think most universities, particularly in the last 2 years, are really looking at ways to support that alternative entry process for students, because more and more they're realising that, you know, not everyone does HSC, and HSC isn't for everyone. So they are looking at other ways to support students into universities. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, your educational access scheme, which is what we're talking about, disadvantage. Generally, it's for disadvantages suffered in year 11 and 12. However, like anything in life, there are ways and means. It sounds like that through 4 through 10 has been quite crap, to use another inelegant word for you. So I would encourage you to, if you apply through UAC, it's free. At the end of your application, there'll be a big button saying apply for EAS, apply, and just have a look at the documentation we ask for and tell us your story, and you'll have documentation, and your school will be able to back up saying that it's affected you in some way. Throw it in, because worst case scenario, you get a letter that says you're not eligible for EAS. That has no bearing or no impact at all on your actual offers to university. That's the worst case scenario. Best case, it says, yeah, you're available. And look, you could get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, depending on the institution, which could be enough to get you across the line for the course that you want. So I would 100% implore you to apply.
I wanted to put Noah on the spot. I was really impressed with the document, Noah, that you shared, the Department of Education document. Sorry to put you on the spot, but that is a brilliant bit of work that the department has done there to kind of put all of the scholarships and everything about the tertiary pathways into one document to share. Are you able to kind of speak a little bit to that? Oh, sorry, you're on mute. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what you'd like me to say about that. Yes, I was responsible for putting that together. Yeah. And tried very hard to access all the university websites to collate all that information. And that because I'm working as part of the tertiary pathways and supporting refugee students in the department under the multicultural education team.
Yeah, it's I think it's a brilliant little resource. And has that been kind of socialized or disseminated to high schools already?
We've put that on the various staff rooms, like the ELD statewide staff room, and we've put it in the refugee YAMA group, and we've put it in the careers advisors and transition advisors statewide staff rooms. So we've tried to, and it's also on the department's website.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think the more we can do, because often, our correspondence, each institution has, different way to engage communities and engage schools. So I think, the more the department is doing to disseminate that information is is great. So
I mean, I think that was the point, and just to make sure that it's in one place, because sometimes it's hard for teachers and schools to know what everything is available. As I think you've heard from, I think was the other student who's at Western Sydney University, where teachers saying, oh, you can't do this or you can't do this, because most teachers aren't aware of the things that are available. So the purpose of that was just to try to make sure that they have access to that information, especially careers advisors and EALD teachers who are supposed to be supporting those students in schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so I think we certainly will, draw on that document as well, Noah, to send out and say, hey, look, here's another little resource, please,
Yeah, and I mean, I think I would appreciate it if like universities as well, contact me and let me know of available, if there are changes to any of the information, so that the document can be kept updated. So that updated, so that students don't go there and say, oh, but this doesn't apply anymore, and it's almost like it's not. It becomes a dead document. So I'd like to keep it live so that it's up to date all the time.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Well, look, I think we'll begin, and everyone, TAFE and Kaplan Business School, this is really meant for your benefit. It's not really meant for us to sell our various institutions. I'm actually really keen that you understand where and when to apply for Kaplan Business School and for TAFE New South Wales, depending on what you really want in your own education. So we have the respective contact details for Kaplan Business School and for TAFE New South Wales. Eva, would you like to add anything before we move on to the next slides?
No, just welcome, and just to remind everybody that the session is being recorded, and then just to place any questions that you may have in the chat.
Yes, that's right. So we think we'll all be watching chat. So Eva, could I have the next slide, please? Okay, we'll start off with Kaplan Business School, and what Eva and I plan to do is just go taking turns rather than I present everything and then Eva presents everything. We wanted to be more interactive, a bit more friendly than going side by side. So to start off with, to introduce Kaplan Business School, we are a school, we're not a university per se, because we don't offer research. So we devote all of our time to teaching. When we award our lecturers with excellence, it's based on the quality of teaching and student support, the learner engagement, and the graduate outcomes that are in the first 3 bullet points. And then we are very proud, as I mentioned before in the three minutes that I had, we're actually very proud that we have higher rate of student rating us against Australian public universities on the quality of the entire education experience and student support. So we are, as I mentioned before in my 3 minutes, student support is what we specialize in, because we are dedicated to 97% of our students are from international, from overseas. So Eva, if I could turn it over for you to continue.
Thank you, Richard. So as I said, my name is Eva and I'm the Multicultural Coordinator at TAFE New South Wales. So just to give you a little bit of background about TAFE in case you don't know who we are. So we are the leading training provider in education and training in Australia. As you can see on the map, we have over 130 locations across New South Wales, and we offer over 1,200 courses across a wide variety of industries and professions. So TAFE New South Wales delivers classes in a dynamic small class environment with access to modern facilities and world-class teachers. Students are equipped with practical skills and knowledge and gain a strong employer connection and a job ready upon completion of their course. So at TAFE New South Wales, the courses are taught by the staff who are world-class teachers recognised for their experience and the depth of current industry knowledge. If you'd prefer to study online, we do have TAFE Digital, where you can connect with teachers and classmates virtually, and you can whenever you like by enrolling in one of those TAFE Digital online courses. Over to you, Richard.
Perfect, Eva, thanks. So let's start off with some of the differences that exist between Kaplan Business School and TAFE New South Wales. We actually offer courses that are at each end of the qualification spectrum. So let's start off with KBS at the higher education side of the qualifications. And in the upper left-hand corner, one way to enter into Kaplan Business School would be through our postgraduate qualifying program. And it's meant for students who have an overseas qualification that might not yet meet a bachelor's degree equivalent or a high school equivalent. So they can come in, it's 4 courses, and we simply get you up into academic study and teach you everything from cultural studies in Australia to numeracy and literacy. And then a lot of students go directly into the Bachelor of Business. And there's where we teach the analytical and problem solving that you need to get a job in either a corporate or to start your own business. So we're focused on the specialties in either finance or healthcare or accounting, where you can actually go get that job in a large institution, or indeed sometimes running a small business. And then once people graduate with their Bachelor of Business, if you want to go into postgraduate education and up from undergraduate education, our next step is the graduate certificate. And here's where we really talk about 4 specific subjects related to leadership and sustainability, customer behavior, and finance. So here we're teaching how to start to lead teams. So this might be whatever industry you want to go into. A lot of our graduates go into healthcare or software development. It's about that team leadership, and it's about understanding how the teams might behave, how customers might behave, how to do budgets, and how to work with finance, and indeed what it means to be a good leader, an ethical leader. And then if you're craving more and even higher postgraduate education, then the 4th option is to do a graduate diploma. And here, on top of learning the leadership and consumer behavior and finance, we're starting to introduce strategy, and we're starting to introduce supply chain for organization success. So supply chain is about how do we get products to consumers? How do we configure services that make sense, that consumers are willing to purchase, or that are good for the public good, the communities. So we're talking about strategy and the future plans that you need and how you can adapt to making sure that your business, either at a corporate level or small business, still stays relevant. And I do have a question from Nicole. You can apply directly from Kaplan rather than through the UAC. And I'll be one of the ones who will evaluate the admissions criteria and the scholarships. So directly answer your question there. And then moving on from the graduate diploma, this becomes the Master of Business Administration. So you'll do from the graduate certificate and graduate diploma, you'll actually do 6 subjects. That'll be half of your master's degree. The other half of your master's degree, we actually tailor it with 8 specializations. So for example, you can look at the 8 specializations are, you can focus on entrepreneurship, on international leadership, health services management, digital management, project management, tourism and hospitality leadership. And a new one that I am actually really excited about is women in leadership. That's really taking off, and I'm backing that personally. So that's the whole package from undergraduate to postgraduate programs that we have at Kaplan Business School. So let me turn it over to Eva, if you would, with TAFE New South Wales, and explain the skills-based training. Thanks, Eva.
I think we've just got another slide for Kaplan.
Oh, I do. Sorry, I don't see it yet, Eva.
That work?
No, sorry.
There we go.
There it is. And thank you for showing this, Eva. I did want to explain. I made some comments in my 3 minutes earlier about the awards that we've made, and I now wanted to give you the actual evidence. So I didn't want to just say that and then leave you thinking that, can you believe me or not? So again, we're really keen on our high quality education. We target commerce. So that's the only thing we do, and we do it actually quite well. So within commerce, it's the MBA specializations I just mentioned, it's accounting, and it's a new business analytics subject. So if you're interested in working with big data, we specialize in that as well. When we're talking about engaging and supportive teachers and how we support students, all of our student experience officers are multilingual, and a lot of them come from the countries where we actually have students that are studying with us. So not only do they understand the students, but they can understand in your own language when basically, essentially, students tell us that they just get tired of speaking English. So you can speak to somebody in your own language. And we do have events. So one event, we had every student around with staff and we made momos on a Nepali night. We've had the Festival of Light for the Indian night. We've had Brazilian dancers coming in. We've had several of these international events, mainly to try to get over the anxiety and homesickness that a lot of international students feel when they're studying in Australia, and to help Australians, the few Australians that we do have enrolled, to understand the multicultural aspects of studying in an institution like Kaplan Business School. And lastly, what's important to me personally is this lifetime guarantee of learning. So what we're doing is that our alumni can enroll into any subject they want in the course in which they graduated from and have a refresher subject, learn new things with webinars that we have completely free. And that's guaranteed for as long as the alumni wants to stay engaged with KBS, Kaplan Business School. So thank you, Eva, for reminding me about this slide. I'll turn it back over. Oh, one more. You can tell that I'm not looking at it. This is going ad lib. This is some of the statistics, and then I will leave it. We do have over, 2,735 high achievers. These are scholarships that we've actually delivered since 2020. On average, we have really small classes. Now, right now, those classes are online. But when we go back on campus, our online and face-to-face campus classes are 23 students on average. And we are the MBA, our Master of Business Administration, regularly is in the top 3 in Australia based on 2019 enrollments by the Department of Education, Skills and Employment. So that's the Australian government. So again, we probably topped that because we're specialists at it, and our lecturers and student support are actually really good in those commerce topics. And again, we have 80 nationalities represented on our campuses. We have 5 campuses nationally. So we have them in all capital cities. That's Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. And we have partnerships with over 2,600 different institutions and businesses. So we have right now, for this example this week, we have our industry guest speaker, where we're actually having people who work in the jobs where our students would like to apply are actually presenting to our students to explain what life is like working in their companies. Okay, Eva, now I think it's time to let you take it over.
Thank you. Okay, so about TAFE, so the type of courses that we have. So when you enroll in TAFE, you've got a variety of study options that are simply fit many people, and you can find the right one that's the right one for you. So we have apprenticeships, traineeships, short courses, certificates, diplomas and degrees. Our short courses, they're designed to give you the skills in a quick way, the quickest way possible. They range from a few hours, a few days to months, number of months. So with flexible study options, a variety of course lengths, you can get ahead with the in-demand skills just in a few hours, few days or few weeks. So at TAFE New South Wales, as I said, we offer many different courses and training programs, and our programs and courses are recognised under the Australian Quality Framework. So what that means is that the qualification and skills that can be used anywhere in Australia and will be recognised anywhere in Australia. And they can also provide you, in some instances, a credit towards further study. So what is great about TAFE? So many things, but one of the main things are our teachers. So our teachers are all industry experts. They bring real practical hands-on approach to the classroom, which gives our students a great insight into the different industries. With TAFE New South Wales, we have over 25,000 connections to employers statewide, from small businesses to global corporations. TAFE New South Wales continues to produce excellent outcomes for its students. and for the economy, producing highly qualified, ready for work graduates with salary and employment outcomes that are comparable and sometimes surpass those of university graduates. So last year we had 84.2% of TAFE New South Wales graduate gain employment or went on to further studies once they completed their course. And many of our students actually find work before they graduate. Okay, so trying to get to the next slide. So with our degrees, you do not need an ATAR to study a degree with TAFE New South Wales, but you will graduate with a qualification that will change your future. So you can study a bachelor degree, postgraduate and higher education qualification with TAFE New South Wales and graduate with strong practical skills and industry connections that will give you a head start on your career. Our degrees are taught differently. So in that regard is that we offer the training by the same teachers that deliver our other courses where they have those industry skills and they are experts in the industry. So they also provide the training like our other courses in a simulated learning environment. The courses are delivered in small classes and there's some really fantastic industry connections that are made. We maintain, as I said, the hands-on way of learning which provides you with an edge through a diverse range of extracurricular student programs that make sure that you have the practical skills rather than just the theory base when you finish your degree. So as you can see on the screen, there are several degrees that you can choose from. Such as the Bachelor of Community Services, which can be completed completely online. We have the Bachelor of Fashion Design, which this one I personally like because TAFE New South Wales is actually the only education provider to present a student collection at Mercedes Fashion Week. And this is great. This is where our students get recognised by well-renowned fashion designers, which is an incredible opportunity for our graduates. So each degree has its own special story. So I really encourage you to consider all the information you hear today to choose the course that gives you the best opportunity to create your own story. As well as our certificate courses and our degrees, we also have pathways that we offer. So, and there are endless opportunities for future learning. These are a great way to attain entry requirements or to fast track your dream career. Your pathway will be determined by your skills, experience, and of course your career goals. If you want to go to university but need to gain entry qualifications or be more prepared to do so, a TAFE New South Wales University pathway is the answer. You can always use your TAFE New South Wales training and qualifications towards your degree so that you can start at a more advanced stage. So when would you choose TAFE to university pathway? When you need qualifications to enter university, when you would like to use practical training at TAFE New South Wales to reduce the time you need to study at university, or if you want to be job work ready with practical skills before you complete your university degree. And on the screen, there are two examples of courses that you could do. And the first one is the Certificate for Tertiary Preparation, which is a qualification that's equivalent to Year 12. So this is an excellent alternative if you've missed out on doing your HSC, or if you did do your HSC and you're looking to get a higher score for entrance into a degree. Then we have the TPC, with the TPC graduates of this particular course, it allows you to gain an ATAR, which is the equivalent, which we call the tertiary entrance score, and can use this to apply for entry to universities across Australia. So Western Sydney University and Charles Sturt University both offer guaranteed entry to a range of undergraduate degrees for students with an eligible score who have completed the TPC with TAFE New South Wales. Was that buzzer for something in particular? Did anyone else hear that? No? Okay, I'll keep going then. So the next one is the higher education credit for your TAFE qualifications. So this is where you can apply for credit transfer arrangements. And there are now over 150 TAFE New South Wales courses, which can gain you entry into almost 3,000 courses in the top Australian universities. Over to you, Richard.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, we have a number of scholarships that even I'm going to talk about now. With KBS, we do have the scholarship for asylum seekers. That's available to both undergraduate and postgraduate. So whether that's in accounting, these are postgraduate and undergraduate courses as well. Whether it's in accounting, business analytics, in business commerce, and the MBA specializations that I was talking about, with the 3 visa classes. Now we have a full range of academic support. So we have the Success Center. So that's where you access your tutoring, your one-on-one counseling. We have, for example, people who may need to see emotional health. We have both professional and counselors on staff who can help with that. A lot of people are very afraid of mathematics. So we don't have too much mathematics in our subjects, but for the ones that we do, particularly in accounting, we have those quantitative tutors, and we have Career Central. So Career Central, like every university, we all do that. We want to help to make sure that our graduates get jobs and get meaningful jobs. So KBS does that as well as every other university. We do that in a couple of ways. So we arrange for internships at a postgraduate level for people to go into work on paid internships at different corporations. So that's available to postgraduate students. At undergraduate level, we have a number of volunteering roles and more opportunities to work within KBS in a more supervised role. So we do have additional scholarships though. And I'm the one who actually chairs the scholarship committee. So I'm very pleased and very excited about these scholarships. We have the high achiever scholarships for those people that have a very high grade average. But beyond that, we have the Karnakanthi Indigenous Education Program run out of South Australia for anyone who comes from an Indigenous background. And we have regional scholarships. So by regional, we mean around the world. So each region from South America to South Asia to Europe, you'll get discounts coming from those regions. We've introduced a frontline healthcare leadership scholarship for people who are working in nursing, particularly with COVID. And we have a number of our students who are active and qualified in aged care. So they'll be qualified for that scholarship. And we have an alumni scholarship for those students who return back to KBS and take further courses with us. So what I would like you to do is find out more at our website. So it's /admissions/scholarships for more information, or contact me directly. So my email address is richard.stager@kbs.edu.au, and I'll put my email in chat another time. So Eva, one more time. So Eva, I think we're ready for the next slide.
Yep. Okay. So these are just in regards to the TAFE New South Wales scholarships. And so on the screen, you'll see some of the scholarships that are available that may be more relevant to the group today. So if you're an asylum seeker or refugee, you are eligible for a smart and skilled training fee-free course up to a Certificate 4 level if you meet the criteria. So the fee-free scholarships mean that you can get the skills you need to get the job you want, and your course fees will be covered. So these scholarships are also available for other groups, which you see on the screen there, which are victims of domestic violence and family violence and people living in social housing. We also have the job trainer program, which provides young people and job seekers with low cost and fee-free training courses to help you develop new skills, improve your job prospects and kickstart your career. So job trainer fee-free training programs are available across a number of different industries and include full qualifications up to a diploma level. And then with the job trainer courses, they are on our website, which the webpage is on this slide, and they are being added all the time. So please continue to check our website, or if you would prefer, you can contact one of our friendly customer service staff on the number 131601, and they're waiting there to be able to assist you. Also on the website, there is a career guidebook which you can download, which will have all the information I've shared with you today, as well as much more. So
excellent.
Yeah, these are our contact details.